Good morning. My name is Johnny Jones.
And I am Adanya Dale.
We have a new teacher, Bill McNamara from Bristol Myers Squibb.
Let's clap and make him feel welcome.
Hey all, it's a real pleasure to be here today. I've been helping as I can Bill and SSN for the last 15 years or so. Part of it on a personal basis, part of it with the company I work with, which is Bristol Myers Squibb, which is a pharmaceutical company. You really don't want to be using our products, because if you use our products, it's because you're sick. So a lot of people do benefit from them, and I hope you folks won't come to need them. How's summer school going so summer camp going so far? Having a lot of fun?
Yes.
Yes. You know, sometimes it's a good idea to mix some of the fun with some serious stuff. And the topics of the Holocaust and slavery are pretty serious business. But life is pretty serious business too. So I think you know, there's time for fun, and then there's time to learn some of the hard lessons that that history has taught us. Anyway, it's a pleasure to be here today. I suspect by the end of this session, I'm going to learn as much from you as you learn from me, because from what I hear from Bill, you guys have studied the material pretty diligently over the last couple of weeks. You know, I obviously don't have a lot of first-hand experience with the Holocaust or slavery because I wasn't there for these events. So, what I you know, what I know about them is generally from reading or studying. But you know, I did have one experience with a Holocaust survivor that left a real impression on me many years ago. In 1973, not too far from here in Williamsburg. Does everybody know where Williamsburg is?
Yeah.
Large Jewish community. Everyone know the Hasidic community with the long coats for the men and the different hairdos for the women.
Yeah.
I used to work there in 1973 as a police officer. And you know, I was just out of the academy. Didn't have a lot of experience, and at that time, the policemen wore a different uniform than today. They wore a dark blue shirt along with the dark blue pants, and they wore a leather jacket that went to the waist, but it was a you know, a very military type leather jacket. And one of my first days in that neighborhood, I was going down the street, and this little old lady, a Hasidic woman, came walking towards me. And when she saw me, I saw her facial expression change, and she got very upset. And she started swinging her cane at me, calling me a Nazi. And I didn't know what to make of it. She wanted she think that I was a Nazi. And you know, I obviously backed off. She was a little older. She wasn't really gonna hurt me with the cane as long as I was from it. And at that point, a young Jewish man in the Hasidic outfit pulled me to the side, and you know, he told me, you remind her of the guards in the concentration camp, because that's what she was in terms of a leather jacket and a dark outfit throughout. And the reason why I share this story is because here's a woman that was 30 years removed from the concentration camp and still suffered from it. So, you know, the day, you know, you get out of the concentration camp during the Holocaust, the day slavery ends, is not the day the pain ends. It's not the day that the memory ends. So you can imagine that she, you know, suffered for the rest of her life based upon those memories. And, you know, would you think maybe her children suffered too when they saw her get upset like that? So, you know, the pain lingers, and I think that's one of the real reasons why, you know, Bill is so committed to, you know, this project and making sure people don't forget the kind of pain that people endure, you know, when they're subjected to mistreatment and abuse. And when the mistreatment and abuse ends, the pain doesn't end. The pain's just starting, because the next generation is going to feel it, and subsequent generations. And, you know, it's not to say we want to linger in despair, but let's not forget those lessons. And I think the key message is not repeat them, and probably even more importantly, you know, not let anybody else repeat them. You know, some of the questions Bill had you know, posed for today. You know, one made an impression on me, which was, when did slavery end? Does anyone have an answer to that question? Okay. Yes. 1619. Okay, that sounds good. And I think that's when slavery, if I have a map, when slavery to the Americas probably started around then. But slavery in the world, unfortunately, it's been here for thousands of years. You know, human beings, you know, you and I, they have a bad habit of taking advantage of each other historically. So hopefully in the future they'll treat each other, you know, a bit better than they did during this period. Does anyone know who started the Underground Railroad? Whoa, whoa! So many answers. Okay, very good. Okay. Wow. You know, where, please.
She helped people go. She helped slaves go. She let slaves go to the farm.
Okay. And how far away did they go to get free?
They went to New York City. Now they could be free. Now they won't like be slaves. And she helped 300 slaves to New York City.
Right.
To the underground.
Right. Now, did you know that some of the slaves were so afraid of being sent back to the plantations that some of them went all the way to Canada? They left the country altogether because they didn't trust this country, which is a really bad message. They didn't feel safe in any state. And there weren't 50 states then, you know, there were a lot less. You know, the United States was largely just the east coast to the Midwest at that time. But you know, some of them left the country as well. Did you know that some of them left the country altogether and started a new country back in Africa? Did anyone know that? Anyone know what the name of that country might be? And I'm going to help you get to that name. All right, there's an expression, give me blank or give me death. What's the blank word? It starts with an L.
Life.
It's a...
Liberties.
Uh-huh. Okay. So what's liberty? Huh? Right. Uh-huh. It's free. So liberty is free. Yes? Huh? Library?
Liberia.
Oh, Liberia. Oh, there's the country. Liberia. It's on the west coast of Africa. It was established by American free slaves. He said, I want to go home. Now, the problem going home was they really didn't know what home was. No one gave them a passport. They didn't have their oldest telephone number. They didn't have an address. They had been gone for 20, 30, 50, 100 years, 105 generations. But they wanted to get back to their homeland. So at least they were on the right continent, right? So, and, yes?
Every time my African people come in, they keep dying because they want
Right. Anybody ever see on the news the cruise ships that they advertise? You see the cruise ships on TV? Do you think that was anything like the ships that the slaves came over the ocean on? Have you seen any pictures of what the slave ships were like?
Yeah.
What they look like? Right. Some people say it was like they were lying in a...
They were black people inside, all scrunched together with handcuffs on them. And when they died, they had to throw them off the ships and stuff.
That's right. That's pretty cruel, right? Is that a nice introduction to America? Mm-hmm.